Hi guys, how you doing? My name's Natalie and welcome to Casual Wednesdays. Yes, I made a segment. So what Casual Wednesdays is going to be, it's just going to be a day where I can talk quite frankly with you guys about like anything. So like ranting, stuff that's happened during the week, just like, you know, keep the dialogue flowing, see how you are, see how I am, stuff that I think is important that you should know that might affect my filming, things of that nature. And to kick this off today, I would like to invite you to learn something about my favourite person in my life, and something that's a bit sad, and I don't say that lightly even though it sounds like I do. So today I want to introduce you to and tell you a little bit about my dog Shy. She's not going to be in the video. She's chilling out outside at the moment because it's a bit hot inside the house. Shy is my nearly 4-year-old Labrador cross Maremma, and she is a little bit of a godsend, to be honest. I'm going to preface this by saying please do not buy from backyard breeders. You are going to learn a lesson in this video as to why that's a bad idea. Always buy from registered breeders. Always make sure that your dogs or pets have papers that go with them, because it's really important and it'll save you a lot of heartache. So my dog was purchased from a backyard breeder, and to me it didn't make a difference. Even though I don't want to be supporting that industry, she was going really cheap because the lady didn't expect to have 9 puppies and she couldn't handle it. And as much as I in some ways regret that decision, I also think that it's not fair that she would have had to go to a shelter. Like, someone would have had to have looked after her anyway, and to be honest, knowing what I know now, I'm glad it was me. So I bought my dog on the back of my last therapist's advice that when I wasn't coping as well as I am now with all of like the mental illness and stuff, which I'll probably make more videos on, she said, you know, go get a puppy, get the puppy certified, let the puppy be your support dog. That's actually a really good idea, because I've grown up with dogs my whole life. I love dogs and I've never had a big dog before, so this was my chance to have like a dog that was on a cognitive level a little bit higher than a small dog that could, you know, give some sort of emotional exchange. And so yeah, Shy, we got Shy. Shy is actually named after one of my favourite books as a kid, which is Shy the Platypus. A year after having her, I was still at university during this time, so I've been pretty much at home with her for the majority of her life, which is something I'm really thankful for actually, because I don't think I would have picked up on her problems if I hadn't been. Before she turned a year old, we got her desexed. And so I was watching her pretty closely during that time, because stitches and Labradors, if you have one, you know that they get into everything, so trying to keep them clean is an actual mission. Anyway, I'd been watching her throughout this time, and when it came time to go back and get the wound checked after all of the stitches had sort of sorted themselves out and whatever, I started to notice that when she walked, she would shift all of the weight on her feet to the very back of her pads, so the pads in the front sort of look like they were popping out on an angle, and that's really hard to explain, and if I found a picture I'll put it in here. She was walking funny and it didn't sit well with me, so I went and I took her to the vet, and I'm really glad I did, because they were pretty concerned and they wanted to order some x-rays, which was not something I could really afford on my student budget, but I actually crowdfunded for her x-rays and her subsequent devices and stuff. It was important to me and I knew I couldn't afford it, and my parents helped where they could, but her x-rays literally cost me $900. So we go back after she's gotten the x-rays, we go and have like a consult with the radiologist and the vet and whatever, and they pull up her x-rays on the screen, and immediately they don't even have to talk, and I have this just sinking feeling, and I'm quite rightly so, to be honest, because what those x-rays showed, and again, if I can find where I've saved them on the computer, I'll put a picture up, but basically hip dysplasia is really common in Labradors, but what they were showing was not just a standard hip dysplasia or even what you would consider a high-end hip dysplasia. This was just next level. So as most of you know, the ball of your femur fits into the socket on your pelvis, and that's what a normal hip should look like. In her x-rays, her femur actually sits right there, so it's bone on bone, and it rubs on the outer edge of the socket. And you would think, oh, okay, we'll just get her a, you know, hip replacement and they can sort it out and she'll be fine. And that would have been a really great, awesome option if that was one that was available to me. What ended up happening was we also found that she has a degenerative bone condition. So every part of her femur had already started to degrade itself with what basically is like an arthritis. So her bones are quite brittle in her back legs, which meant that a hip replacement wouldn't be possible at all, because essentially what they do in dogs as a hip replacement is they cut the head of the femur, put a new one on and shove it into a socket that's got like a silicone lining type thing. And they couldn't cut her femur without breaking both of her legs. And it just, I couldn't do that to her. That wasn't fair. When I heard this news initially, I did actually run outside of the vet's office and vomit on his car, because it was just such a sick feeling that this poor dog, who was only a year old, who was like the best thing, and now I'm gonna cry, who was like the best, who had helped me so much already at this point. I don't want to cry, but this makes me really upset. Was given this blow, and I was sick at the fact that she was just a baby and I didn't want to have to lose her so soon, and it wasn't fair because she was born pretty much with this death sentence, and the people that bred her knew about it because it had to have been a genetic condition from one of their dogs. And that made me really upset. So what I ended up doing was getting in touch with the RSPCA and just letting them know. And the only options we had left were to put her on medication, which also pained me a little bit because I don't want to degrade her liver and her kidneys at such a young age, but I really don't have any other options. She wasn't in pain at the time, but she was going to be in pain in the future. So because she wasn't in pain at the time, I thought it would be wrong to try and put her down at the time. And then the other option that we were given was to shave down all of the nerve endings on either side of the bone. So basically she'd hurt herself and not feel it, and I thought that was incredibly unethical and wrong for a veterinary practice to put forward. So we ended up going down the route of medication, and basically what that means is she gets joint supplements a lot. I use turmeric sometimes as well. I didn't want to medicate her to the full extent, so I keep her underweight, which might sound cruel to some people, but she doesn't miss out on food. She gets fed twice a day. It's just smaller portions, and because she can't do the activity to burn it off, it's not as bad as it would be if you were feeding a lab these portions who you're taking for 2-hour walks every day, because she just can't do that. And so every 4 months she gets 4 arthritis injection needles, which basically coat the joint and just give her a little bit of synovial fluid to pad the area, and then when that wears off, it's pretty noticeable because her whole back end of her body gets really rigid. Along with crowdfunding for her surgery, for her x-rays, I actually crowdfunded for a wheelchair, so I have that on standby. If things get really bad, I'm not going to allow her to put weight on her legs, because I don't think that's fair as a pet owner, that at some point I'm going to have to put her down. As hard as that's going to be, I don't want her to be in pain. And then the only problem that we have now is that she can't get accredited as a support dog because she can't do the training that she's required to. So that makes it a little bit hard for me when I'm finding properties, because realistically if she was accredited, it wouldn't matter if the places I wanted to rent in allowed dogs or not, because she would have been an accredited dog, able to go anywhere with me. It might come as a surprise to some of you that I'm this emotional about my dog, because I'm really not this emotional about people. I'm gonna put a whole bunch of pictures of her at the end so you can see what she looks like and what she looked like when I brought her home. So yeah, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go outside and hug my dog. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing. Bye guys.